Hi guys, in this video I demonstrate the issue that often comes up when we're reading in strings that have space characters in them. And then next I demonstrate how to read in an entire line including any space characters in that line. So I'm working with strings, so the first thing that I do is I add a preprocessor directive to include string, and then I declare the first variable. This variable is of type string, and I give it an identifier name. Then I prompt the user to enter your name, and I read that name into the string variable. Now I do something similar with a city, so I declare a variable named city. I prompt the user enter your hometown, and I read that into the city variable. And finally I reflect by outputting both variables, name and city, back to the console. So your name is, I output the name, line break, and I output your city is, and I output the city here. So let's run this program. And first I get the prompt, your name is, so I enter John, your hometown, LA, and everything works fine. And outputted, you enter John, your city is LA. Let's run this again. And let's say the user enters first name and last name, John Doe. Hits enter. And now what happens here? I never had a chance to enter the hometown. And it outputted your name is John and your city is Doe. So what happened here? Let's go over what happened. So I put in comments what was entered up here, John Doe and the enter key. So essentially, whenever we're dealing with input, any character can be entered, and as soon as we hit the enter key, it starts reading in the characters. So here it starts from the very beginning, J, O, H, N. Now it encounters a white space and stops right there. And then it puts the characters that it read, John, into the variable. So this variable holds the value John. Now it stopped here at the input buffer, but there are still remaining characters. So it continues declaring the variable city. It prompts enter your hometown. It wants to read again from the input buffer. Now it notices there's a space, so any white space is ignored, but then it finds a D, H, D, O, E, and then it finds the line break, so it stops, and so it reads those characters into the city, D, O, E. And now when it outputs the values, name stores the value John, city stores the value Doe. So essentially it ignores any white space before, and it stops reading as soon as a white space is encountered in the input stream. And that is why first it only reads John, there's a white space, it stops, program continues, and then it starts with the next word. And this problem can be even larger if there are multiple white spaces. So how can we solve this problem? Let's move on to number 2 here, how to read in the entire line. Now instead of reading in reading the value in with the cin and the insertion operator here, what we do is we use a getline function, sin.getline, and we pass in 2 arguments. One is the sin. Actually, let me remove this. Getline so it's just getline, we pass in sin. And second argument, we pass in the variable that we want to read in. Now, let's remove the comment here. And I run this program again. So enter your name, John Doe. Now I can see the prompting works already. So let's enter LA. And everything works fine. It read the entire line here until the enter key, the line break. Now there's still one issue, which is the second variable. So if I enter John Doe and I spell out Los Angeles, we can see it only reads loss. And that was because here I'm still using the regular syntax with sin and the insertion operator into the variable and not the getline. So if we convert this also to getline, first pass in sin, and second argument is the variable that we want to read in, that will allow us to read the entire line. So John Doe Los Angeles, and here we get the proper output. So whenever we expect to read an entire line, everything that was entered, we can use the getline function. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching.